Happy birthday to Syra. 2 months old. Are we live? I'm not seeing any people on yet. Okay, we're live. Syra is 2 months old. By the way, gotta adjust the headspace. Good friend of mine, Damon, was telling me, Mike, you gotta adjust the headspace 2 inches. Video quality is going up. Tonight, wow, I'm looking pretty good in this sweatshirt. Shauna lets me leave the house looking like this. Can you believe that?
Shauna wants you leaving the house.
If I were Shauna, I would not let somebody like this leave the house looking like this. That's just me personally.
Oh yeah.
But you know, maybe Syra or maybe Shauna's okay with it. All right, few quick updates. Support me money. I'm not even actually asking for money, so you got blocked. Got a show tonight, Right Side Broadcasting Network. Did you watch my last episode?
So, did he go potty?
Yeah, I did. Why? Okay, well you can... Hey, what's up? Are you getting hungry or what? Are you getting hungry or what? She's kind of a daredevil already, so we have the sky chair. She likes to be out. She likes to be up high. You like to be up high, don't you? She does. There's a little jealousy. A little jealousy in the family among grandparents because everyone who meets Syra goes. She's Dad's daughter. Looks just like Michael. I don't know. What do you think? Does Syra look more like me? Or more like Mom? Me or Mom? Her facial expressions are definitely like mine. Definitely like mine. Anyway, tonight, another show. 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern Time. 7 p.m. tonight. And we should have the green screen set up, and we should have video clips ready to load. So, it should be a little bit better tonight. But I want to talk a little bit real quick about some advice I gave an aspiring journalist. I gave a guy some advice. So I hired him to do an expose. And his expose, his research was good, his facts were good. It was solid, right? Why does your sound suddenly change? I don't know what that means, my friend. And he did a good article, but there's no emotion. There's no emotion. So a lot of people on the right, people say facts don't care about your feelings. You got to be logical all the time. You got to be logical all the time. Well, if people were logical, nobody would be obese. Huh? I'll say that again. If people were logical, nobody would be obese. Everybody knows that eating too much, eating the wrong foods. I don't need to support her neck, guys. She's got a strong neck, like her dad. See that neck? I'm not even doing traps. I don't even train traps anymore. Just strong neck naturally. She's got a strong neck. Thank you, though. You got any more parenting tips? And I hold her with these fingers back here. Hey, look at those eyes. I think you're going to have brown eyes like your mom. Yes, everybody's like, facts don't care about your feelings, man. Here's what I hate to tell you. If people don't feel anything, then nothing happens in life. Motivation only happens when you have ultimate levels of dopamine in your brain. If you don't have dopamine in your brain, then you're not going to be motivated. And if you're not going to be motivated, you're not going to take action. So you could draw this up like a little chart. You could just say, dopamine, motivation, action. Oh, you're getting hungry, huh? Okay, we'll get you okay. We'll get you fed. If you don't have dopamine, then there's not going to be any motivation. And if you don't have, oh, wow, you just want to look at me. Staring contest? And if you don't have motivation, you're never going to take action. So logic is actually easy. It isn't that hard. It isn't that hard to create a logical argument. There's various fallacies you have to avoid, but that's just a thinking 101. Thinking 101. Coming up with a logical argument isn't really that true. Who's the boss in your house, Mike? Syra. Syra is the number 1 boss. Julius is the number 2. Then Sean and I are just kind of like the help. You like that, huh? Then Sean and I are just kind of the help. I have a lot of bosses. I have, a dog that needs walked every day, even though it's raining. I have a daughter who's great, needs a lot of attention. I have readers and viewers. I get a lot of bosses. But you know what? I'd rather have a lot of bosses than... Hey, you're like the looking, huh? Sorry, guys. I might have to just cut this Periscope short. She likes to just get into staring matches with me. Look at that. Yeah? You like to just stare. Your little eyes are coming in, huh? What color are you going to have? Blue or brown? Blue or brown? Wow. We don't know yet. Blue or brown? I'm hoping blue, but you never know. Yeah, I always like the trolls who are like, you having a mixed race. I deal with it on both ends, which is a kind of funny thing about my life. On the one hand, people of the media call me a white supremacist. On the other hand, people call me, they say, you have a mixed race baby. Sorry that you don't even get laid. So, hey, that's what always cracks me up about all these guys who are like, oh my God, I would never race mix. You can't even get any girl. You know, you're not mixing anything. Go mix your paintbrush and a little bit of paint before you come talking to me about the color schemes. No, you don't want to be there. You want to be set up high. Is that what it is? You want to be just like... So another thing I've learned about babies is that moms can agree with this. Little mom knowledge. They don't cry for any reason. I used to think babies cry just to cry. But they actually don't. They need to be held in a certain position. And the position, we couldn't find it last night. Finally, Shauna put a pillow on her legs. And you're hungry now too, huh? But they don't cry for no reason. They really do, like, you can soothe the baby pretty easily. You just have to figure out why they're crying. So Syra's very particular on how she likes to be held. And it changes. So sometimes she likes to be held like this, right? And then this will be the only way she wants to be held. And then other times she wants to be held different way. So then she's saying no, she doesn't want to be held that way. Yeah, she's getting big. So then I put her right up here, and then she likes this for a little bit. A little eye contact, but I think you're hungry. Is that what it is? You're hungry for mama? All right, she's hungry. She's got to be fed. But it's interesting. Yeah, babies don't really cry for no reason. If you find out why they're crying, they actually stop. Hey, okay, mama's coming. Mama's going to feed you. Mama's going to feed you, okay? Yeah, they don't actually cry. They don't actually cry for no reason. You just have to figure out. It's like a mystery. It's kind of fun, actually. It's mellowed me out a lot. Because I'm not a patient person. I mean, you can ask Shauna, am I a patient person?
No.
I'm not a patient person. Hey, okay. You want your mama? Okay. Yeah, so it's helped mellow me out a lot of ways because I'm a very impatient person. I'm very short with people. But you can't be impatient and short with a baby. So now I have to be very like, okay, she's crying. Why is she crying? What's going on? Where does the name come from? Depends on who you ask. This is where I tell you sometimes it's better to have a good story than a true story. So people go, Mike, Shauna gets so mad when I tell the story of our name. Because in my mind it's true because of a false memory. So Shauna gets so mad because people go, how'd you come up with the name Syra? And I said, well, the first ultrasound showed up that we were having a boy. So because we were having a boy, we were going to name our boy Cyrus, like Cyrus the Great. But then we found out we were having a daughter. And we said, well, we'll just do Syra rather than Cyrus. And Shauna goes, that isn't the true story, Michael. That isn't. She gets so angry. But in my mind, it is true, right? So somehow I constructed that completely false narrative. It's called the Mandela effect. If you want to have a little fun today, Google the Mandela effect. Mandela, like Nelson Mandela. Google it. Just trust me. I talked about it on my last Periscope. Yeah, I like this color. This color looks good on me. Earth tones. Earth tones. Anyway, back to the story. The idea that you only have to have logic, it's just a logical argument, is empirically false. So here's what's ironic. People go, Mike, you're too emotional, you're too much of a feeler, you feel too much. But let's just turn the logic, hoist you on your own petard, as it goes. Let's hoist you on your own petard. Logic isn't persuasive. Therefore, if you want to persuade, it isn't logical to only rely on logic. What do you think about that, Reddit cucks? It isn't logical to rely exclusively on logic if you want to actually be persuasive. And this goes back to Aristotle. Ethos, logos, pathos. Google it. The 3 principles of rhetoric. No, Shauna's got Syra. Syra needs to eat. She eats a lot. I mean, can't believe how much she eats. Ethos, pathos, logos. Logos is logic. Do you have logic? That's only one part. You have to have character in your own self, your own credibility. And you develop credibility by being honest, by telling true facts. And then, of course, you have to stir emotion in a reader, because if your reader doesn't feel anything, your viewers don't feel anything, you have failed. I'll give you a great example. Great example. It's a project I produced. Big film. It's done well. Don't get me wrong. Silenced. Did a documentary on free speech. A great documentary. You've never had so many different voices of free speech. We have Milo. We have Alan Dershowitz. We have Dave Rubin, Gavin McInnes, Anthony Cumia, Weave, neo-Nazi. Ricky Vaughn is in Silenced. Man, you name it. We have a Trump-supporting Muslim. We have a Muslim feminist criminal defense lawyer. We have Scott Adams. It's just crazy, right? It's great, great, great. When you watch it, you think, well, that was interesting. When you watch it, you go, well, that was an interesting film. Quite interesting discussion on free speech and what it means. Yeah, we got Hotep, we got Uncle Handy Mayhem, Uncle Hotep. So we got it all. And when you watch it, you think, well, this is very interesting. I really enjoyed it. But you don't feel, man, there's no hype. There's no pump. There's no pop. So all we did was we told logic. We laid everything together very logically, but we didn't stir the emotion in people. And if you can't create emotion in people, you're not going to do anything in life. That's what I do. By the way, I'm going to get a better chair. I've been sitting down a lot more. I'm going to get a fancy chair. Shauna is she's not cheap, but she's the frugal one of us. Shauna saw the chairs I was looking at. And let's just say I closed off that tab real quick. Closed off the old tab. Because I'll still buy it, don't get me wrong. I'm not a beta male. I'm going to buy the chair that I want to buy. But I also don't want to induce a panic attack on Shauna. And that's another thing, too, about the truth, is that you can do what you want to do. As a man, you got to do what you want to do. But you got to realize that your wife, don't bring her added stress, right? Women got enough stress without, knowing that the man is buying an Aeron office chair, Even though I can easily afford it. That's the whole thing. That's a lot about life. Life is about knowing when to tell the truth and when to withhold the truth. A lot of times in life it's better. That is why being an adult is learning how to hide what you know. Here's one of the insights I had with, the drama that I had, last year. I no longer have any beef with anybody. I have no beefs with anybody as of January 20th. But you realize, like with younger people, they want you to know what they know and who they know, right? I need to get a little trim here. When you're a young man especially, if you're a man 25 to like 30, you want people to know what you know, and anybody who isn't telling you what they know all the time, you're just outraged by. And this isn't an age thing too, because there are other people my own age actually who really want people to know what they know. But as you devolve, that's devolving there. As you evolve as a man and you become more integrated, the game becomes hiding what you know. So people don't understand. The game, you saw a photo of me with the black guy, what happened? I got in a fight, man. Got sucker punched. Beat a guy up, and then he ran behind. A building came out. This is like 5 years ago. Then, 7 years ago. Then he sucker punched me, and then I was about to destroy him. Why? Because jiu-jitsu, man.
Hey, tell them how you shit talk. You're shit talking to him.
Yeah, I'm not going to do that right now. But I will. I'll tell you that story. You are pure evil. Like pure evil. I'm only like 10% evil. What was I talking about? People got me sidetracked. Oh, name dropping. Me, my game is about hiding what I know and who I know. Nobody knows who I know. Nobody knows about my connections. Why? Because I don't talk about them. I don't talk about who I know or who I've met or connections I might have or any of that crap. Why? Because I'm fully integrated. That's the difference. Fully integrated. I've even had people say, one guy did a video and he goes, Mike Cernovich, nobody even knows what he really believes. And this was a criticism that he thought he was really taking me down, man. Really was hitting me hard. He thought he got out the sledgehammer and was just smashing away. Nobody even really knows what Mike Cernovich believes. Well, no kidding. No kidding. Perhaps that is by design. Does it benefit me for people to know what I really believe? Right? What do I win if people know what I really believe? No, the game I play is hiding what I believe, hiding who I know, hiding the connections I have, not revealing my actual true power level. That's the game with me. Think about Steve Bannon for a minute. Steve Bannon is now, I don't know, how old is Steve Bannon? Somebody Google this. How old is Steve Bannon? Steve Bannon is what, in his 50s? Steve Bannon is 63? Is he really? Is that right? No, Google it. Come on, don't guess, guys. Just type on Google. But Steve Bannon is in his 50s, maybe 60. All right. Whatever the case is. Steve Bannon is now right up with Trump. He's Trump's chief advisor, Steve Bannon. 5 years ago, had any of you heard of Steve Bannon? Right? 5 years ago, did any of you know Steve Bannon's name? 1 year ago, or not even 1 year, let's say 2 years ago. 2 years ago, did anybody know Steve Bannon's name? If you were a real deep political media insider, you did. If you were really into Breitbart and really in the game, you knew who he was, but most people didn't know. Steve Bannon isn't out there bragging about who he knows and who he met and trying to get people to say, oh yeah, I got all these powerful connections, right? So people who want to understand me, you would be better to study, say, Bannon than anyone else. You know who else is actually good at hiding? You wouldn't believe this is true. You wouldn't believe this is true. But it's true. Who does Milo know? So if you read Milo's Twitter, if you read it, well, not his Twitter anymore, but if you read his Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook, you go to his talks. Do you ever hear Milo go, oh, I know this very important person, or I hang out with this very important person, or I have such and such connections, or yada yada? Do you ever see Milo revealing his? So Milo, even though he's this big personality, this big famous guy, you don't hear Milo dropping names, right? So think about that for a minute. You don't hear Milo dropping names. You don't hear Milo dropping names. Right? Why is that? Because I'll tell you why. When you drop names, multiple things happen. Right? When you drop names, multiple things happen. One is that the people whose name you drop are going to become a target vis-a-vis their association with you. So if Milo goes, I know this guy, then now people are going to dig up everything they can find about Milo and go, well, this guy's friends with Milo, and here's what Milo said, right? Same thing with, it also looks insecure and petty. There are other reasons not to do it. Makes you look thirsty. So with me, if I go, yeah, I know this guy or this girl, then people are going to try to go after that guy or girl based on what I've said. You know what else it does? And this is something most people don't appreciate. It limits what you are able to say. Right? Yeah, so Milo posted articles about me, but he doesn't say we're friends. Right, same thing. Milo doesn't say my friend Mike Cernovich, you know. He doesn't name drop me. Whereas you see, and that's how you can kind of tell the difference between who's a real player and who's not a real player. That's how you can tell the real players versus the dick riders. The dick riders they're trying to leech on to anything somebody else is doing and claim like they know the person. That means they have no power. The real power is nobody really knows who you know, man. Nobody really knows who you know. The juice. That's the real power. The real power is sometimes you don't even know who you're talking to, right? The real power is maybe you have a burner cell phone and you only talk to people on burner cell phones, and nobody even really fully knows who is on the other end of the line. That's real power, right? That's real power. You don't even really know for sure who you're talking to. Could be anybody, really. What does that give you? Plausible deniability. If I'm ever subpoenaed before Congress and they go, Mike, do you know so-and-so? I'll just be like, I don't know. And they can pull up my phone records. They're not going to find anything. They can subpoena my phone. They can subpoena my phone records. And they're not going to find nothing. I could just be like, well, I don't, maybe. I don't know. Don't remember. Truthfully. Under oath. Under oath. Under oath, I could say, I don't know. I don't know. Don't remember. Not sure. Couldn't really tell you. Maybe. Who knows for sure? That's the real game. The real game isn't glamming onto people, pretending like you know everybody, dropping names all the time. You don't need to do that. Unless you're trying to impress people. But the kind of people you're going to try to impress aren't the kind of people who matter. That's another thing too. I call it the YouTube fitness phenomena. Right? The YouTube fitness phenomena. It goes something like this. If you want to be on YouTube and you want to talk about fitness, you need to do a lot of anabolic steroids because you got to be super big and you got to be ripped. And then you have to lie about using steroids. That's what you got to do on YouTube. Right? You got to take steroids and you have to lie about it. Well, why? Because you're trying to impress teenage boys. People my age and at my level, you're not impressing me because I know you're full of shit. Right? Like, I know you're lying. You know, all these guys like, oh yeah, I'm completely natural, 100%. Yeah, maybe one time in college, I took a couple pills, but I didn't really know what they were, and I didn't even really... Right? So people like me, they have no respect for people. Like, adults don't respect them. Teenage boys do. So then you have to ask yourself, do I want my audience to be teenage boys who are gullible and naive enough to believe that you can be 250 pounds ripped being 100% all natural? Right? Well, the same analog is true with, like, politics. If you want to impress people who don't actually have political connections, then you drop names because people think, wow, you got all these connections, you must be important, you must be a real player, you must be this and that. But the real power people don't want their names being dropped. They don't want people to know what they know and who they know. So if you're a name dropper, then the actual real power players aren't going to reach out to you. They don't want to talk to you because then they wonder when you're going to drop their name and tell people you know them and expose them to all kinds of fragmentation. It's the same thing. So then you got to ask, well, who's your audience? And my audience is not teenage boys. Although if you're a teenage boy watching, you're welcome. And it isn't people without connections. It's a more savvier audience. If I wanted to have a bigger audience, but with unsophisticated people, then I would just be like, oh yeah, I know this guy, I know that guy, and I would hype up the names that I know, but I don't want that. I don't want an unsophisticated audience. I want a more politically involved, sophisticated audience. Why? Well, for a lot of reasons. Here, I'll tell you why. One reason is that I had a good conversation with Jeff. Jeff is my deplorable organizer. And ultimately reached the conclusion, like, what's the end game here? Well, if you can't get people elected, it doesn't matter. These periscopes are nice, they're fun, whatever. But if I can't get people elected, then ultimately what I do doesn't matter. Right? If I can't, because I have my whole lifestyle business. That's where I'm in a unique position, unlike other political commentators. My actual business is Guerrilla Mindset. My actual business is Danger and Play. My actual business is my nootropic company. Right? Journalism, I don't make any money doing. I lose money on the journalism. Journalism, I don't make a profit at all. Maybe in a way, indirectly, if I break a story, I get a little bit bigger. But the conversion rate on that is really low. Any internet marketer will tell you that it's inefficient. So however much money I make because of journalism is inefficient because it's a numerator and denominator. You have X number of readers and Y are going to buy from you. And if I write if my primary business is in mindset, then writing about journalism, even though it might interest 3 times more people, the conversion rate is actually going to be 1/5 of what it would be if it were just mindset. So in that regard, the math is inefficient. So ultimately, it's about getting votes. That's where you have to think in terms of, what do I want? And this is important too in your own life. This is like a mindset thing, a coaching thing. You got to ask yourself, what's your end game right here? What is your end game right here? Well, my end game for the political stuff, for the journalism stuff, for the media stuff, I got to get the people in that I want in, and I got to get the people out that I don't want out. That's my end game. That's my periscopes. That's the right mindset. As in 2018, can I get out the people that I don't want in Congress, and can I get in the people I do want in Congress? And it isn't so hard to believe. I'm 38. Trump's got 8 years and 46. So in 46, maybe I want to be president. I'm 39. Thanks, Shauna. Very important correction. Okay, I'm 39. So 47. But I guess the campaign would start when I'm 45. So 45, that's a good age to be president. There's no reason I can't be president. And
I don't want to be first lady.
Shauna doesn't want to be first lady. So that's the whole thing. Melania does not want to be first lady. Anybody who understands women and relationships, Melania Trump did not want to be first lady. She is not happy with the situation on. I can't blame her. Trump didn't want to be president either. I think I've told this before. Trump didn't want to be president. Trump wanted to run in the primaries. He wanted to get 15% of the vote. And then he wanted to nominate the successor. Think about it. Why would you want to be president if you're Trump? I don't want to be president. Right? I don't want to be in Congress. But when you're a man and you live in a country, it becomes a duty. It's a duty. Trump is a president out of duty. No, not because of his legacy. It was a duty. See, this is something we don't talk about in modern America, but that was taken for granted in prior generations. Noblesse oblige, right? The duty of the noble. The nobility have a duty. If you have a noble stature, you have a duty to serve all the people, right? It was always understood as a duty. But you never hear that anymore. Nobody talks about duty now. Everybody only talks about rights. Well, I have a right to do this and a right to do that, and freedom to this, freedom to that. I can do whatever I want to do. I should be able to do whatever I want, which is a very childish shadow energy. Read your Carl Jung course. There's nobody ever tells you, do your duty. Think about it. If you told somebody, do your duty, people will look at you like you're crazy. What are you talking about? I have a duty? I don't have a duty to anybody but me, Big Daddy here, right? Now, there are pros and cons to that. If you're living in an unjust society, then they try to use do your duty to serve and perpetuate injustice. So it isn't like you should blindly do your duty. But the point is, if you live in America and you see what is going on and you're Trump, you have to run for president. It's your duty. You cannot, and Trump even said that in that Oprah thing. Right? Maybe if things get so bad, I'll run. He said that when he was like 40. He did his duty. I don't want to be in Congress. Why in the world would I want to wear a suit every day? Uncomfortable shoes. Walk around, have people, I don't like people kissing my butt. Have people smooching all day, trying to get something from me. People trying to manipulate me all day. I don't want to be in Congress. I don't want to be in Congress. But if I have to do it, then it becomes my duty. Then it's my duty to run to help America and to prevent it from becoming like Europe. Same thing with Trump. Trump didn't want to be president. He just did his duty. You get great benefits like retirement pension. I already have all that set up. So yeah, Trump just did his duty. Why? Well, no, because he has to. It's not that. That's the thing. People are so, because of our culture is so debased and is so degenerate. When I say Trump didn't want to be president, he did his duty. People go, why does he just quit then? Why does he just quit? That's how bad people are. That's how bad society is. Well, because it's the right thing to do. And that's another thing that you don't even talk about. Nobody does anything now because it's the right thing to do. Why is Trump president? Because it's the right thing to do. You tell people that again, their brains can't even what do you mean it's the right thing to do? Nobody talks about, hey, do the right thing. That's how, especially if you've, like me, and you've studied ancient philosophy, you know, if you read Plato, Aristotle, you read the great thinkers of the past, or even Aquinas. If you read the old philosophy and you compare it to now, you're on a bizarre world. Nobody ever says, hey, that's the right thing to do. You should do it because it's the right thing to do. And making the right choice is good in and of itself. It's called an intrinsic good versus an instrumental good. We live in a world of instrumental goods. People are instruments to us. What can we get out of it? An intrinsic good means good in and of itself. So you would say, being president, Trump does not get anything out of being president. All Trump gets out of being president is losing privacy, losing money, losing brand, getting more drama, losing friends. For Trump, being president is a net loss. He's getting negative out of it. But it's the right thing to do. That's why he did it. That's why Trump is president. It's intrinsically good. It's good in and of itself to do the right thing. Otherwise, it's terrible. Think about it. I mean, think about it. Nobody thinks about things from, here's a good lesson, theory of mind, empathy. It's another thing people don't do. People don't think of things from the perspective of others. And that's because this stuff isn't taught. People aren't educated about it. People go, wow, Trump is president. That must be great to be president. Well, you think it's great because of where your life is, right? Wherever your life is how you're judging what Trump must be feeling. But empathy means, well, let's just wait. Before you say it's great for Trump to be president, why don't you think about where Trump is? Trump was a multi-billionaire, beloved by America, massive political power and influence, living the dream in New York. He could kind of travel, do what he wanted to do. That was Trump's life before being president. Now, he's got to basically hang out by, it's kind of sad actually, he's got to hang out by himself, and the White House is boring, people hate him. So he went from being loved from Europe. How you doing, Euro Maestro? So Trump went from being loved to now being hated. He went from being a big-time A-list celebrity to now people don't even want to perform at the inauguration. Come on, guys. Half the country already loved him. That's the thing. People go, what did Trump gain by becoming president? Right? Don't look at it from your perspective. For me, I'm glad Trump is president. From my perspective, I'm thrilled that Trump is president. Thrilled that he's selfishly. But that's my perspective. What about from his perspective? His legacy, he had a great legacy. Guys, his legacy was set. Trump is gaining nothing out of this and losing everything. Trump is gaining nothing and losing, well, not losing everything, but losing a lot. It's terrible. So you got to look at things from his perspective. The stress of the job, whew, man. But he did his duty. You don't hear that anymore, though. Do your duty. It's very Roman, very kind of ancient Greek. Just do your duty. Do your duty as a man. It's the right thing to do. Do it. It doesn't even work on people. But he loves America. He gained more self-respect? Nah, he doesn't. Look at where Trump was before he was elected. Right? You got to measure things from where he was. What did Trump gain? He had power. Trump had power. The issue is that nobody Nobody other than Trump could have got elected from the GOP. No Republican but Trump could have been elected. That's a fact. He makes the world a better place for his grandchildren, sure, but when you have that kind of wealth, you can insulate your children from most of the problems, right? He's not getting anything out of this. He's helping us. And Trump is already, the thing that people don't know about Trump is how compassionate he is for other people. Long before he ran for office, Trump has always said, what are we going to do for people who never had a shot at life? You can Google this stuff. Go fact check it. Trump had been saying, what are we going to do for people that never had a shot at life? He's always cared about people who never had a chance. He's always had that sense that he is in the noble class and that he should help people who never had. Because there's people who never had a shot. And, get out of here. Not everybody can be whatever they want to be in America. That's so dumb. You can do whatever you want. No, you can't. Syra is going to be able to do things that I never could have done. Fact. Why? Because I started 10 years behind where I should be. Just because of the circumstances I was born into. Syra will be able to, unless she chooses to be a loser, then but she won't. See, Mom is already triggered. She knows Syra's going to do great things. Syra has a leg up on everybody. Life isn't fair. Life isn't fair. Not everybody can do everything. It's such bullshit. That's one of the great American lies that the elite tell. You can do whatever you want to do. You can't. You got to have a certain talent. You have to have opportunity. You have to have luck. You have to have insulation from bad choices. Here's what nobody tells you about people like Mark Zuckerberg. People go, Mark Zuckerberg is a self-made man. He dropped out of college at 19, and then he created this .com, and he did great things. Self-made man, Mark Zuckerberg, hero. This is completely farcical. So what college did Mark Zuckerberg... Well, he's not a con man. No. Mark Zuckerberg is a brilliant entrepreneur and visionary. This is not a hate Zuckerberg thing. This is just me educating people on what people take for granted. What college did Mark Zuckerberg drop out of? Harvard. Dropped out of Harvard. So how did he get into Harvard? What parental circumstances led him to be at Harvard? What people don't understand is that we don't care. See, this is where I have to block you because you just hate. So somebody goes, he stole the concept of Facebook. I don't care. We're not talking about that. People steal concepts all the time. So if you want to hate on him, you're missing the whole point of it. You're a very negative person. And I can tell you you're never going to be winner in life. You'll never do anything if you just want to focus on hate and negativity. But what people don't understand is that to take an entrepreneurial risk, there's always a downside limit to a downside, right? So if you take a risk and you fail, where is your safety net? So if you grow up even in a middle-class family or upper middle-class family, you can take a great entrepreneurial risk. Because if you fail, what do? You're going to go back home with your parents, live a nice life, recover, you got a couple years, whatever. But if you grow up dirt poor and you take an entrepreneurial risk, then your downside is that you're homeless. Homeless. People go, you have a nervous tell Mike, you're nervous. I'm actually not nervous. I drink coffee because this is what I do. I'm high energy. So that is why the greatest entrepreneurs come from the middle class. This is something, and this is why the elite want to show you. You want to know the real red pill? You want to know the real red pill on globalism? The real red pill that nobody knows about. Because they don't understand all these things because it isn't taught in school. The biggest entrepreneurial successes come from the middle class. The biggest entrepreneurial success comes from the middle class. If you're at the elite, you don't compete with the other people in the elite. Billionaires aren't competing with other billionaires. That is why the 8 richest people in the world all think alike. Has anybody ever thought about that? Why is it that if billionaires compete with each other, they all think alike and talk alike and act alike and they all hate Trump and they all hate Hillary? Nobody asks these questions, right? Nobody goes, well, if billionaires are in competition, why are they always conspiring with each other? No, no, no. You want to destroy the middle class. Because the middle class are the people who can be the new elite. The middle class are the real competition. The elites are in an oligopoly, and they can conspire with each other, and they can control each other, they control prices, they can control policy. They want to destroy the middle class because the middle class is the next level of entrepreneurs. Why? Well, I'll tell you why. I grew up working class poor. The risk that I could take in life meant that my safety net was like here. My safety net was that if I had failed in what I wanted to fail, sure, I could have gone home and had a family. You know, I could have gone home with my family, but it just where I would have been would not have been great, right? So if I took an entrepreneurial risk, my downside is pretty bad. But if you're middle class, like say I'm very like upper middle class, right? I'm not big dick baller, but I do well enough for upper middle class. So my children, if they take an entrepreneurial risk and they really try and strive to do the next Facebook or whatever, and they fail, hey, they're just back with me for a couple of years figuring things out. No big deal, right? No big deal. They're right back here. So who is more likely to be in the billionaire class? It's going to be the middle class. And the elite know that, and that's why they want to destroy the middle class through globalism. Is if you eliminate the middle class, you have now defeated all your competition, and then you can have an oligopoly, and then you can enslave people. Then you like Brazil, you'll have the very big rich people at the top, and then you'll have slaves at the bottom. And if you're a sociopath, I mean, just think about it. Don't think about the world the way, this is another problem people have. Don't think about the world through your own moral lens. Think about the world through the moral lens of Jeffrey Epstein, pedophile. So if you're Jeffrey Epstein and you're a billionaire and you want to rape children, which is what Jeffrey Epstein does, again, get out of your own head, because people are saying already, Mike, that's crazy talk. No, no, no. Don't think like yourself. Think like Jeffrey Epstein. If you're Jeffrey Epstein and you want to rape children, and you're Bill Clinton and you want to rape children, because Bill Clinton hung out with Jeff Epstein all the time, do you want good middle-class families? Is it easier or harder to exploit girls and children from middle-class families or from really poor, broken families? Right? Which is easier? To exploit children from functioning, nuclear, middle-class families, or to exploit children from broken homes? So now you see why the elite attack the family and they want to destroy homes, because then they can rape more children. That's the real agenda. People don't want to talk about this. People don't want to think about it. So if you're Jeffrey Epstein, and most of those billionaires are pedophiles, if you're part of the see, people are like, LOL, what? Not everybody can keep up. That's why you're blocked, for stupidity. Stupid people get blocked. So if you're at the very top and you want to exploit children, you want to destroy functioning middle-class homes, because then there's broken homes, and then that gives you more supply of slave labor. That gives you poor people to enslave for labor jobs, and also it gives you sex slaves. And the pedophiles can get the underage sex slaves. So that's why they destroy the middle class, and they want to destroy the family. Otherwise, it would be irrational. Otherwise, it would be irrational to destroy. Why would you want to destroy the middle class, and why would you want to destroy homes? Well, if you think about the world through a moral, if you're a moral person, you think about the world through a moral perspective, you would say, well, America's middle class is great, and a nuclear home is great for children. We want functioning families, functioning nuclear homes. Well, yeah, that's because you only think like yourself. You have to think of Roman Polanski, who rapes children. Hollywood, where they rape children. Hollywood wants broken homes. They want slavery. And the only way that you can have slavery is to destroy the middle class. That's the real reason the billionaire class wanted Hillary Clinton to win, because Hillary Clinton was continuing Obama and George W. Bush. You'll never hear me say anything good about George W. Bush. They were continuing the war on the middle class and destroying the middle class. That way, they could create more slave labor. And that's what Trump wanted to stop, and that's what I want to stop. But that's too much for most people to comprehend. Because most people can't get out of their own heads. And that's your own, not yours, but the fault of people who can't get out of their own heads. People go, Mike, I don't agree with that because I wouldn't do that. Right? Nobody cares what you would do. Right? What do other people want to do? And this is also why, to link back to the original point of this Periscope, you can't think like yourself, you have to think like other people. What persuades other people? What motivates other people? What drives other people? Well, the billionaire class, the Jeffrey Epstein type people, the Bill Clinton type people. You know that Hillary Clinton was friends with a convicted human trafficker? True or false? A woman was trying to smuggle children out of Haiti, and Hillary Clinton intervened to protect her. True or false? Hillary Clinton protected a human trafficker who was trying to smuggle children out of Haiti. This isn't even, you can Google that. This is fact check it. So people go, Mike, you talk about the Clintons and sex slavery and pedophilia. What evidence do you have? Well, Hillary Clinton intervened in a case where a woman was smuggling children out of Haiti. Right? What more do I need? But the media isn't going to talk about this. So Bill Clinton is buddies with Jeff Epstein, pedophile. And Hillary Clinton has intervened. How did she intervene? You got to Google it. You got to fact check it yourself. I can only lead you to the water. I cannot make you drink. I can only lead you to the facts. But you have to go then get into the facts yourself. So Hillary Clinton intervened in a case involving a woman, a human trafficking organization, that was smuggling children from Haiti. Google it. Google human trafficking, Haiti, children, Hillary. You can find the emails from WikiLeaks. So that's that, you know. But people don't want to think that way. They only want to think about the world from their own perspective. But you have to realize there are a lot of evil people in the world. Don't think about the world from your perspective. Laura Silsby was the woman's name. You can Google Laura Silsby. Google Laura Silsby. Laurasilsby. It's all proven. And figure it out for yourself. And you'll see. Unbelievable. But that is the thing. If you want to persuade people, if you want to know how the world really works, don't think about the world from your own perspective. Think about the world from the perspective of other people. And then you'll be more persuasive. Every area of your life will actually improve. Being empathetic and getting out of your own mind and getting in the minds of others, that is how you understand the world. It's even how you become a better salesperson. Why is it that I'm able to sell so much better than everyone else? Because I look at things from other people's perspective, not just from my own. I look at it from the perspective of other people. What do other people want? What drives other people? We don't think about that often enough. What do other people want? What motivates them? What drives them? And that's because people don't have these conversations. Usually when you meet somebody, you just want to talk about your thing. Let me talk about me. Let me talk about me. When's the last time you said, so like, what's your story, man? What's your story? What do you mean? Here's what people will say. If you go, hey, what's your story? People won't even know how to answer. Like, what do you mean? Because nobody's ever asked them that. They've worked so hard to try to, just share with people that they don't even know how to communicate. It's like, I don't know. Like, what gets you up in the morning? What gets you up in the morning? Little things. One day I'll do a course on communication. One day I'll do a book or a course, a video course on really how to connect with other people, communication, charisma, persuasion, that kind of stuff. But I have other things to do for now. Watch my show tonight, Right Side Broadcasting TV. It'll be in 7 hours. So tonight at 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern Time. 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern Time. Watch it on Right Side Broadcasting Network. And it'll be calling. Yeah, we'll have some calls. I think we're going to do it Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I think we're going to do it Monday, Wednesday, Friday. We'll see how the analytics look. But Monday night for sure, and then we'll see how it goes. And then Friday night, the problem is Friday night is a bad night for traffic. Monday is a better day for traffic than Friday. But we'll see. We always got to experiment. Do you think poor people should have free health care? How do people call you? I'll post the phone number. Do I think poor people should have free health care? Well, I define free. I think poor people should be better educated. I think that we should subsidize proper nutrition education. But largely, most illnesses are actually lifestyle illnesses. That's the thing people don't want to talk about. Everybody wants to talk about healthcare, but nobody wants to talk about how most conditions are actually caused by improper diet and lack of exercise. That's the bigger issue. But I don't want to live in a world. You can watch it on YouTube, guys, and I'll post the link on. Here's what I want to know. Whenever people go, Mike, should poor people have free health care? And then conservatives go, Mike, no, they shouldn't. They shouldn't. Well, we found money for these wars in Iraq and Afghanistan, so that we're going to spend the money there. Here's the way I look at it. If we're going to find $7 trillion to bomb and destroy Middle Eastern countries, and now people are talking about Iran, which is crazy. If we can find the money to blow up other countries, then we can find the money to take care of the poor people in America. Now, if your perspective is you oppose free health care and you oppose wars, then I can kind of get that, right? There's a lot of people with that philosophy. I can appreciate that. If your perspective is, I am opposed to the government doing anything, maybe you're an anarcho-capitalist or something, hey, I can respect your perspective. I can respect your perspective. For sure, I respect that. But if you're one of those people who are like, we need to go to war with Iran, and we need to go to war with Iraq, and we need to go to war with Afghanistan, and then I can't respect you at all as a thinker, because you're not an independent, rational thinker. Because the money is going to be spent. So I would rather have the money be spent on better roads for America, better fiber optics, better Ethernet, more cell phone towers so I can actually get reception. I don't even get reception. Half of the places where I go, where I live. In America, I can't even get a cell phone tower. Okay, but we can go over to the Middle East and bomb the hell out of people. I don't really get that, right? How about when how about when in LA we don't have potholes in the roads and you can get cell phone reception? Then we can talk about wars in Iraq. So do you think poor people should be given health care if they can't afford it? What do you want people to just die? You want to live like in India where poor people have to beg in the street? That's the world you want to live in? That's the world you want to, because that's where you want to. I don't want to live in that world. But you're stealing other people's money, man. Well, but you support those wars. You're okay with tax dollars going to fund wars. So don't give me that. Don't give me that bullshit. Don't want to hear it. Watch my show tonight, 7 p.m. Pacific time, 10 p.m. Eastern time. I get to take my dog for a walk, even though it's raining. Thanks for tuning in. Mike Cernovich, DangerandPlay.com, Gorilla Mindset. Talk to you tonight. There'll be a number. You can call in. You want to hear other people talk? There'll be a phone, and you just call a phone, and you can talk. Tonight, 7 p.m., 10 p.m., depending on your time zone.